the kitchen with Bryant, Terry. We're just gonna do a recipe if you wanna introduce us.
So this is one of my signature recipes, citrus collards with raisins. It's actually one of the first recipes that I ever published, and for me this was my way of kind of like taking a traditional southern soul food staple and giving it a modern, sexy reinterpretation. So we have our collard greens, we have some garlic. Usually I use regular Valencia oranges, but we're gonna use some blood oranges to give it a Northern California twist. And we have some golden raisins, coarse sea salt, and extra virgin olive oil. And we might just give it a little twist of white pepper at the end. So,
I like that.
So okay, you're gonna help me out, right?
Yeah, I am. So just lead the way, and I'll follow you.
Okay, cool. So for the first thing, I'm just gonna kind of like cut the spine out, and you can do that with the tip of the knife. And then we're gonna roll it into a tight cylinder, kind of like a cigar. And we're cutting this into it's called a chiffonade. And so you just want to roll it tightly. Make sure it's really tight. We're gonna cut it on the diagonal into thin strips. You know, this is really the interpretation of the chef is the most important thing. I like to cut mine in thin, elegant strips because I think it looks cool. And there we go.
All right.
Yours are less elegant.
They are less elegant.
But this is you. This is your interpretation. So
It
it's
is.
all
It's
good.
an abstract collard greens.
I like that. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
So the next thing we want to do is blanch the collard greens. Olive oil. What I do is add a little olive oil and then combine it with the garlic.
So I put my garlic in now.
Put the garlic in now.
All of it?
Yep. And let me get
smells
you a
awesome.
spoon. Do a little stirring.
Cool.
And then we turn the heat up so that we have a little bit more control over the cooking of the garlic. So what we want to do is cook that until it starts to smell fragrant and you know, it's getting the whole house smelled. And I have a tip that I like to share. If you're ever cooking, you know, dinner party, having people over, I don't care what I'm cooking. I have some garlic and I turn it on right before people come because then they're just like, oh my God, this smells so good. It'd be like a chocolate souffle and they're just like, the garlic.
I like that.
So it's a little
That's great.
tip I like to share. So I'm gonna grab these.
Right.
So once that starts to heat up, we'll just add the collards. And the thing I like about this dish is it's quick, you know what I mean? It's packed with nutrients and it's really pretty. Obviously a lot of people, because of the economic slump, are looking for ways to make dishes that are inexpensive, that are quick to make, and that are made with sustainable foods. And this dish is one of those dishes that I like to share because it has all those elements in there.
Great. And you know, it's a little bit of a different take on a traditional soul food dish.
Yes.
Yeah. So now you talk about the South a lot, and I know you're getting ready to go back down there and do some work, right?
You know, I'm always doing work in the South. I read this article a couple years ago that talked about the rates of obesity in the United States and how 9 out of 10 states with the highest rates of obesity are in the South. And it bothered me. I'm from the South, and I really felt like I wanted to start doing more work to illuminate that fact and just try to make some intervention. You know, there are tons of organizations who've been doing great work in the South, but because I have such a national presence and have been connecting with a lot of organizations, I thought it'd be a great way for me to share best practices, ideas that I've learned. So if you want to stir that up.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Stir it up really well. We want to get all those greens coated with that garlic oil. And then pretty soon after that, I'm going to add the golden raisins. Okay. And, you know, once they cook, they'll start to pumping up a little bit. This is great because it just gives it like a little these sweet bursts in every bite, you know? Yeah. I always say that in this recipe, citrus collards with raisins, the orange juice and the raisins are kind of like the metaphor for the direction that I see African American cuisine heading into the 21st century. You know, more refreshing, more sweet, more bright, bold, sexy, all that stuff. I love it. Good. I'm just gonna give it a little sprinkle of this coarse sea salt. And when you're using sea salt, the thing is, you just want to use just enough to help bring out some of the natural flavors in the recipe. And, you know, there's this fine line where you can actually taste the salt. And you don't want to taste the salt. You want to taste the natural flavors of the food, but the salt kind of helps bring those flavors out.
Yeah.
So that's looking good. What do you think?
Good?
So for the citrus, whatever the acid, you know, some of the basic elements of a good dish: salt, fat, and acid. So we have our coarse sea salt. Our fat is the extra virgin olive oil, and our acid is going to come in form of this. You can use lemon, you can use orange, you can use apple cider vinegar if you like, but we're going to go with this. So we're just going to like squeeze it in.
Me too?
Yep. Ew, yes. You want a plate?
Okay.
Oh yeah. There we go.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's still getting some more out.
Cool. Yes. Citrus collards with raisins. Mother Jones bringing you progressive politics and cooking since 2009. So I'm working on a new book that'll be out in 2011.
Very cool.
And it's in response to the economic crisis. And so it's all about how I'm eating from our home garden, our CSA, and local farmers markets.
Yeah.
So I'm really letting the ingredients drive this book. So whatever we get, I'm just kind of like freestyling, reinterpreting whatever, you know, I have for that week. So
That's great.
yep.
Now, we're not too far from West Oakland here, right?
Maybe a 15-minute drive.
Now, I know this neighborhood's beautiful and you've got Meyer lemon trees, but areas like that, they've got an issue of food injustice, right?
Yeah.
Food deserts.
Definitely.
You've worked on that before.
It's an issue that I've worked on and that I'm always trying to help more people think about, because people living in middle class and affluent neighborhoods don't have to think about their food sources. You know, you have independent grocery stores, big health food supermarkets, farmers markets, community gardens, but in a lot of low income neighborhoods, it's exactly what you described as a food desert. There are very few sources for getting healthy, fresh food, and a lot of people are kind of like relying upon these small corner stores that sell mostly liquor, tobacco, and a lot of processed fast and junk food to get their food. And so I kind of see it as this kind of like apartheid in the food system, whereas if you live in a good neighborhood, you have access to good food, and if you don't, then you don't have access to much food. And because I don't even call that stuff in packages and all that. That's not food.
It's not food.
What does Michael Pollan call it? Edible food-like substances.